all of that. Yay.
So then we're going to check one thing over here. Oh, yeah. Good morning, Sarah. Shabbat Shalom. How's Helen doing today?
She's great. This morning she did a whole run through.
All right.
And she seemed real pumped to.
Okay, cool.
She's like, I got this.
She does. She does. Okay, awesome. Awesome. I hope it's okay. I don't know if you reached out and mentioned just a couple of those.
She did. Yeah, she did. I don't know whether Helen ended up making those changes or
Okay.
not, but she is aware of them.
Okay,
So
no
we'll see
worries.
if she
No
decided to
worries.
do that.
Yeah, it was just small stuff. And yeah.
So the one thing I wanted to say is, so after we do the passing of the Torah, we do the procession.
Yes.
So the younger kids, you're going to invite them to come.
Now, yes. Now I'm going to call their names before we do any of that stuff.
Okay.
So, but when we go down to do the Torah passing ceremony, I'm going to invite Arthur and Audrey to stand next to Helen, for the marching, and then if you think they would like to march.
Oh, yeah, I do think so.
Yeah, and then at that point, so then so then when they're marching, and then we all come up. So I've already called them.
Yeah. So, I see. Okay. Well, because I was wondering, Mike's not involved in the passing of the Torah ceremony, but I would like him to march or to do the procession with us.
So then, if he wants to maybe come down, we all go down with the Torah. So when I pass by you, we all go down together. Then Mike, come on down and sort of stand to the side there. We'll all be standing. So maybe just stand right there to the side, almost near where Arthur and Audrey are. And then Arthur and Audrey come over, stand for Shema, and then when we start marching, he's right there. So he just joins it. Yeah.
You decided who's sitting in the front row? Or?
You sit in the front. It's first come, first served. You sit next to me in the front. We'll see where.
Morning, Helen. Hi. I hear you had a great run through this morning.
Nice to see you, but I haven't had a chance to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, moving on.
Great. You're so prepared.
Hey, yeah. Are you going out of state or state?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's exciting.
Heading out east.
Just participate. Did you have any questions?
Well, we enjoyed your voice while you've been here.
Wonderful being here, yeah. Still got a few more months left though.
All right, good.
Yeah. Oh, good question. So after we march and
Shabbat Shalom. Good morning.
usually you're sitting here on the address. So then when I set the Torah down, if you'll then come over, remember the first thing we'll do is we'll slide your binder onto the Torah. You do the short Torah introduction, give people the page numbers, and then at that point you're sort of standing here, and then I'll call up your grandfather. Now when your grandfather comes up to do the first section of chanting, if you want to sit at that point, if you want to take a little breather, and then, I'll call you over, however you'd like to do that. But if you'll introduce it, and then I'll mention about we have 4 aliyot, and your grandfather's going to be the first one, and then, so whatever you want to do at that point when your grandpa's reading. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what would you prefer for the closing song? Do you want a Don Olam or Ein Elohim? So there's options. So Ein Elohim, Ein Kadoshenu, Ein Kemokeinu, Ein Koshenu. So that's that one. There's Adon Olam Asher Melech, which we did last night. Or there's Adon Olam Asher Melech.
Yes.
Ein Elohim? Gotcha. No problem.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because what's going to happen? Right. So I'm not going to call so what I'll do is, grandfather, your father.
He's been the Brotherhood rep at almost every party.
So it's all a blur. You never met my son, but has the brotherhood rep at his but then he has an older brother that you haven't met. But anyways, yeah.
So he'll have
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. You bet. Yeah, good question.
Here. You have this
Double check my
memorized,
cue.
right?
And I vary a little bit.
That's good. I know.
Very good, Arthur. Very good, Arthur. I heard that. Yeah. Facing east towards Israel. Let's see, Cantor, is this, should we move this closer? Do you think a little
It
closer?
can go. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you can, yeah.
Okay, great. I did turn up the volume, so.
We probably need to turn it back on again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because Susanna's, we've been through that.
Oh, is she? Okay. Oh, I could see that. Okay, cool.
But Helen was, she's standing a good, with the right distance. She's protecting her.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, she was adjusting the mic to her. tali from your bat mitzvah, Sarah. Nice. Very nice. Well, what do you think? You guys ready? Okay, let's see. Great. So, Brad, you have a curve book. Grab one. Oh, everybody's got one. Okay, good. Now let's go.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to get started with Hine Matov, how good, how pleasant it is for us all to be here together, which you can find on page 188 in your Siddur. Please join me. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, yadadai, dadadadadadai. Hine Matov, yadadai, dadadadadadai. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, yadadai, dadadadadadai. Hine Matov, yadadai, dadadadadadai. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Temple Sinai of Glendale. I'm Rabbi Rick Schechter, and that's Cantor Alyssa Rosenbaum. It's so wonderful for all of us to be together today. As the psalmist wrote in his Cantor Alyssa sang, it is so good, it is so pleasant for all of us to be together in unity. To be together as family, to be together as friends, and to be together as a community to celebrate Shabbat, the Jewish day of rest, the Jewish day of renewal, a day when we can slow down to thank God for all the goodness, all the blessings in our lives. This Shabbat is so very special because on this Shabbat, we celebrate Helen Bairstow becoming a bat mitzvah. Helen's a bat mitzvah, literally a daughter of the commandments. Today, Helen is recognized in our eyes and the eyes of the entire Jewish world as having come of age in our tradition. And she is now ready and willing and able to keep the teachings and the practices of Judaism. So today, Helen demonstrates her new status as a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandment, by leading us in prayer and in worship. So please join in when Helen invites you to join in the English. Please join in the Hebrew if you know the Hebrew. Please sing along. If you don't know the songs, please hum along. We are all going to celebrate together. Now, Helen's also going to demonstrate her status as a bat mitzvah by chanting from the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. And Helen will share very thoughtful, very wise teachings of hers based upon this week's Torah portion. So we want to wish a heartful Mazel Tov to Helen and to Sarah and to Brian and to Mike and to Arthur and Audrey, to the entire family. My goodness, we have family and friends from all over with us today. We've got family and friends from throughout the Los Angeles area and from Montrose and Altadena and Visalia, California, and Mariposa, California, from Washington State, from Seattle, and Bellevue, and Redmond. And with us on live stream today, we have folks from Los Angeles and Orange County and Seattle. We have family and friends with us today, even as far as Pasadena, California. So thank you all for being here today. Hopefully everybody has a copy of the prayer book that we'll be using. This is Hebrew opening, so it opens and reads from right to left instead of left to right. We'd like to invite everybody in the sanctuary now to please silence your cell phones if you're carrying them. Thank you, thank you. No texting during the service. Helen, you're doing great. We have another way to show our love and appreciation to Helen throughout the service. It's a modified form of applause. Instead of applauding like this, we're going to go like this. We'd like to call this Sacred Pac-Man. We'd like to call this Sacred Pac-Man. So we'll have plenty of opportunity to show our love and appreciation to Helen by doing that throughout the service. Just a reminder, there's no photography during the service. So let's begin. We turn to page 185 in our prayer book, page 185. In loving community of family and friends, this morning we celebrate Helen, and we enter this sacred space to voice the longings of our hearts in prayer. We devote ourselves this morning to psalm and to song, to study and to prayer. May our hearts be lifted, may our thoughts be deepened, and may our souls, like the eagle, soar. At this time, we are so very honored to call upon Helen's mother, Sarah, and her grandparents, Sid and Trudy Hendrickson, to present Helen with her talit, her Jewish prayer shawl. Pretty.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Got clips too. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Trudy. Thank you, Sid. Beautiful talit. A beautiful, beautiful talit. My goodness. Well, on page 192, we now come to, yes, we now come to a song that is traditionally said upon entering a Jewish sanctuary in the morning. It comes from the Torah, the book of Numbers, Ma Tovu. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. This is our spiritual dwelling place. Please join us on page 192 for Ma Tovu, if you know this song.
קודשך אבוא ביתך אשתחווה לך קודשך ביראתך מה טובו מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל מה טובו מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל משכנותיך ישראל.
We now turn to page 198. Page 198, as we are so honored to have Helen Bairstow, our bat mitzvah, lead us in prayers, thanking God for the miracles of daily life. Helen's going to chant the Hebrew. We're going to respond in the English, beginning at the top of page 198.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech vivina lehavhin ben yom uven laila.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir arumim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who lifts up the fallen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam chamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who strengthens our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who clothes the naked.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten laya'ef koach.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who gives strength to the weary.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who made me in the image of God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chorim.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has made me free.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has made me a Jew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who girds Israel with strength.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who crowns Israel with splendor.
We continue with the Katsi Kaddish on page 224.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ועמד יברח ירתה וימליך מלכותי וחייכון וביומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
We now turn to page 226. Please rise for a call to worship. Turn to page 228 for the Yotzer or prayer, thanking God for the wonders of creation. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, otzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Praised are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions of all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom you formed them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands, and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we may all swiftly merit in its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, our creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamarot.
Amen.
We turn to page 331.
Yeah, that's 231. 231, yeah.
Love your neighbor as yourself, you said. And light-blinded we saw that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us. As we climbed, we fell back and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Please join me on the Shema, beginning on page 232.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu
שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד.
Please be seated. Please join me in chanting the Vea Hafta on page 234. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיתם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue on page 239. Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness there is your word. Emet, that pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is the Torah. And your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice. We continue on page 240. We now come to the heart of Jewish worship, the Amidah, on pages 242 through pages 248. Please rise. Adonai
שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה על זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו אחד הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי אני אדוני אלוהיכם ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue with the singing of Vishamru on page 250.
Let's ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please turn to page 252. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant us your holy Shabbat as heritage. May Israel, who sanctifies your name, rest on Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. I am honored to now call upon my stepdad, Mike Martell, and my grandparents, Mark and Nabucco Bairstow, on page 255.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy.
Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod.
We now pray responsively on page 257. This prayer has the Hebrew response, Medim anachnu lach, which means, thank you, God.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim anachnu lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds.
Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodot.
We now take a moment for personal and silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, ועניון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, be acceptable before you. Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Aseh shalom b'imramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru, amen.
We now come to our Torah service. You can find the prayers and blessings for the Torah service beginning on page 362. Page 362.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'ma'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam v'ad, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, av harachamim, heitiva v'irtzoncha et Zion, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, ki v'cha levad פתחנו, מלך אלרם ונישא, אדון עולמים.
To now open the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark, we are delighted to call upon Miki and Justin Shee, Helen's aunt and uncle, and to pass the Torah through the generations. We are honored to call upon Sid and Trudy Hendrickson, Helen's grandparents, Sarah Bairstow, Helen's mom, Brian Bairstow, Helen's dad, and of course Helen Bairstow, our bat mitzvah. And after our processional with the Torah, we are honored to help us undress the Torah scroll, Arthur and Audrey Bairstow, Helen's brother and sister, and Ezra Hendrickson, Helen's cousin. We now invite the entire congregation to please rise before the open ark. Well, Helen, you are leading us so beautifully today in Shabbat prayer and worship. You know, some of the prayers that you've been chanting and leading us in are thousands of years old. You're now getting ready to do something that Jewish people have also been doing for millennia, for thousands of years. Reading, chanting from the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, the embodiment of Jewish wisdom and history and teaching. Contains the books of Genesis and Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. We're not asking Helen to read all those books today. As you know, you've got a wonderful section from Exodus that you'll be telling about in just a moment. So Helen, in becoming a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandment, you are taking your place among the Jewish people in what we call the Shashelet HaKabbalah, the chain of Jewish tradition. Now, this loving chain of tradition extends thousands of years into our past. It will, I believe, extend thousands of years into our future, thanks to you as the newest and the strongest link in the chain of our Jewish tradition. In this Torah, Helen comes to you Lador Vador, from generation to generation, with the love and the support of your family. Thank you, Cantor. It comes with the love and the guidance of your grandfather, Mazel, and the love and support of your grandmother, the love and support of your father, the love and guidance of your mother, to now finally rest in your arms.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai iti, Unerom Nemo Shemo Yachdav, Lecha Adonai HaGedula, V'HaGevura, V'HaTiferet, V'HaNetzach, וההוד. כי כה בשמיים ובארץ, כי כה בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה, ועמית נעשה לכל ראש. רוממו, 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 אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד.
And please be seated, everybody. Slide that right under there. There we go. And if you'll get in front of the microphone here, if you're able to see that. Okay.
This week's Torah portion comes from the book of Exodus. It explains how to build and use the altar for burning incense that was used in the first first Jewish place of worship. You can find the Torah portion in the Blue Torah Commentary on page 571 and in the Green Woman's Torah Commentary on page 487.
So that is page 571 in the big blue book in front of you, and page, what do we say, 487. Page 487 in the Green Women's Torah Commentary. And we're going to be beginning at verse 44 of Exodus 29. Verse 44 of Exodus 29. Well, in Judaism, it is a tradition to be called to the Torah as bat mitzvah, as Helen is about to chant. And there's also tradition in Judaism to invite up people as an honor to say blessings before and after each chanting, blessings thanking God for the gift and wisdom of Torah. That honor is called an aliyah, and aliyah literally means going up. And we have 4 aliyot this morning. And we are also honored this morning, Lador Vador, from generation to generation, to also have Helen's grandfather, Sid, do the first chanting. And then Helen will pick up with the second through fourth chanting. So for our first aliyah, we are honored to call up to chant Sid Hendrickson, Helen's grandfather, and to say the Torah blessings. We are honored to call upon Trudy Hendrickson, Helen's grandmother, and Sarah Bairstow, Helen's mom.
Ta'amodna gittul bato befegela yovela bat gittul rishon.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Borach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. V'kidashti et ohel moed v'et hamizbeach v'et Aharon v'et banav akadesh l'kahen li. V'shachanti b'toch b'nei Yisrael v'hayiti lehem le'Elohim. V'yadau ki ani Adonai Eloheihem asher hotzeiti otam me'eretz Mitzrayim l'shochni b'tocham ani Adonai Eloheihem.
Dirty, do you want to take your to lead? Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Mazel tov, Yasher koach. We're going to give you guys a hug. Well done. Very nice. And Sid's going to pass the yad to Helen, our bat mitzvah, as now she begins to chant Torah at the next verse in your book. And for our second aliyah this morning, we are honored to call upon Helen's grandfather, Sid Hendrickson.
Ya'amod Yitzchak Sidan Sheni.
Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch et Adonai Hamporach.
Baruch Adonai Hamporach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamporach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'asita mizbeach miktar ketoret atzei shitim ta'aseh oto ama orko ve'ama rochbo revua yiyeh ve'amatayim komato mimenu karnotav Vetsipita oto zahav tahor et gago ואת קירותיו סביב ואת קרנותיו ועשית לו זר זהב סביב.
Okay, I'm going to say the blessing now. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Can I give you a hug? Nicely done.
Thank
Very
you.
nicely done.
Thank you, Sid. And for our, thank you so much. And for our third Aliyah this morning, we are so honored to call upon Jason and Seth Hendrickson, Helen's uncles.
יעמדו חיים שמואל בן יצחק סידן, משה בן יצחק סידן שלישי.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Uste tabaot zahav ta'aselo mitachat lezero al shnei tzalotav ta'aseh al shnei tzidav v'haya levadim laseit oto bahema Ve'asita et habadim atzei shitim ve'tzipita otam zahav ve'natata oto livnei haparochet asher al aron ha'edut livnei hakaporet asher al ha'edut asher Ivaed lecha shama.
Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Jason. And for our fourth and final Aliyah this morning, we are so very honored to officially call as Bat Mitzvah Helen Bairstow.
תעמוד, 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 הבחורה בת מצווה, טובה בת יובלה, עלייה רביעי.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vehiktir alav Aharon ketoret samim baboker baboker behetivo et hanerot yaktirena uvha'alot Aharon et hanerot ben ha'arbaim yaktirena ketoret Tamid lifnei Adonai ledorotechem lo ta'alu alav ketoret zara ve'ola umincha V'nesech lo tishu alav. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
One of those moments, yes. Oh, that was wonderful, Helen. That sounded fantastic. Well, this is such an important moment in the life of a bat mitzvah and in the circle of our community. We like to call this a Siman Tov and Mazel Tov moment. It's a good sign and good fortune that we are all together celebrating this very, very special occasion. We'd like to invite the family to come on over. And let's see, Arthur, Audrey, you guys want to come on up too? We're going to sing Siman Tov and Mazel Tov. All right. Please come on over. Join Helen at the Torah. And we're all going to join in if you know Siman Tov and Mazel Tov. If you do not, please clap along.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yeilanu. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yeilanu, 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 Ulecha Yisrael, Yeilanu, Yeilanu, Ulecha Yisrael, Yeilanu, Yeilanu, Ulecha Yisrael, Yeilanu, Yeilanu, Ulecha Yisrael.
Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Y'all would like to have a seat? Well, with the Torah before us, it is a Jewish tradition to say special prayers. In this case, prayers of healing for people that we know who are sick or injured, people who are in need of a healing of body and spirit. We invite you to please join us in this Mishaberach prayer of healing. You can find it in the middle of page 371. Middle of page 371.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor habracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Well, at this time, we invite you to offer the names of people you know who are in need of healing. We'll go around the sanctuary. Please raise your hand and call out their name. Isa. Yes. Yes, please. Yeah, they're in the back. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Maisie. Yes, thank you. Carolyn. Thank you. Yes, please, Mike.
John Best.
Dorothy. George.
Greg.
Yes, Billy. Yes, thank you. Well, we think of all of them, and we also include in our prayer of healing all the people listed on the inside of our leaflet on our Misha Berach page. We now pray in our hearts for all of these temple members who are in need of healing, all of these family members in need of healing, and all of these friends and co-workers who are in need of healing, as we now continue our healing prayer.
מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We pray they are all healed. Well, Helen chanted the Torah so fabulously, as we all heard. And we would like now, as part of Jewish custom, to raise the Torah high for all to see the words that she chanted so beautifully. To lift the Torah, we are honored to call upon Helen's grandpa, Sid Hendrickson. And to dress the Torah, we are honored to call upon Audrey and Arthur Bairstow, Helen's sister and brother. Yes. Okay, and as they come up, we're just going to get the Torah ready for a second. Yes? Oh, and Ezra, are we calling up Ezra? Okay, yeah, let's also call up Ezra Hendrickson, Helen's cousin. Okay, no? All right. Okay, well. Okay, let's see. Getting all that right. Oh, thank you. And it's a tradition to please rise as the Torah is raised. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai Beyad Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov. Torah, tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov. Torah, tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe.
And to now help us return the Torah to the Ark, we are honored to call upon Kristen Hendrickson and Amy Hong, Helen's aunts. as we turn to page 374. Page 374. Please be seated, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Have you ever felt really stressed? Maybe it's because of school, work, or something really big that's coming up. What did you do to get rid of that stress? There's a phrase in today's Torah reading, "I will abide among the Israelites, and I will be their God. And they shall know that I, the Eternal, am their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might abide among them. I, the Eternal, their God." These sentences state how God brought the ancient Jewish people out of Egypt. In Hebrew, the word for Egypt, Mitzrayim, means narrow space. The reason for this is because the Jews were once slaves in Egypt, confined and trapped. When you're stressed or in a bad mood, then you might be in a narrow space like the ancient Jews were in Egypt. In a way, being stressed or constricted is kind of like being a slave to your emotions. Like how the gods saved us from the narrow space of Egypt, Judaism can save us from our own narrow spaces of stress. One of the 10 Commandments is to observe Shabbat. Shabbat is a time to remember that God helps release people from their narrow spaces, and we thank God through the various blessings said for allowing us to experience the wider space and freedom of Shabbat. Shabbat is also a day of rest after a long week, and it's based on God's rest after creating the world. So Shabbat is a time to take a break from stress, and it's like being freed from your mental burdens. Overall, taking a break is a great way to calm down, and God is commanding us to do so. On Shabbat, if you go to temple, you will hear lots of music like we did today, from the chanting of the Torah to the many cheerful songs for holidays. Music is a great way to calm your mind and stop thinking about the things that are stressing you out. In Judaism, even the Torah is read as a song, as well as the blessings and prayers. Singing along with songs during the service, or even just listening, can be a form of stress relief. An important part of Judaism is community. For example, our tradition teaches that you must have a minyan, a group of 10 or more people to hold a service. This important tradition seems to suggest that if there isn't a community of people praying and being together, then a service can't really be complete. If you think about it, the temple is one big community. However, it holds many different communities inside it. For example, Sunday school classes for children are a form of community within the community here at Temple. Other communities within our community here at Temple are sisterhood and brotherhood. Communities allow people not to be alone and have others to talk to. Communities can give support to others and are a positive part of one's life. It can give people a chance to make friends and have a shoulder to lean on. Such a shoulder to lean on is a prayer said on Shabbat services called the Misha Berach. The Misha Berach is a prayer of healing said when someone is hurt or sick. Yet it's not just for one's body, it is also for one's spirit. This means it can also be said when someone you know or even you are stressed or in a narrow space. When sharing the names of the people who are in need of healing, you are also sharing something that is stressful to you or weighing you down. So when we say the Misha Berach prayer of healing for a family member or friend, in addition to expressing our hope of and wish that they recover and get better, it can also ease our hearts and minds from the overwhelming stress and worry and provide a space within us to grow the strength to help that person in need. Another way Shabbat can save us from our narrow space comes towards the end of Shabbat. Shabbat concludes with a ceremony called Havdalah. During Havdalah, sweet-smelling spices are passed around for everyone to enjoy. These symbolize Shabbat ending and a new week beginning with renewed energy and freshness. As we heard in my Torah portion, Jewish people also used incense as a part of worship, from which the idea Havdalah spices originated. Sweet or soothing scents are a good way to calm down. That's why they're part of Shabbat. These are some ways Judaism encourages us to distress and keep it cool. I hope this gives you some ideas for the next time you feel stressed. In becoming a bat mitzvah, I did a mitzvah project. For my bat mitzvah project, I will be collecting money to donate to Clean Air Task Force. Clean Air Task Force is a nonprofit environmental organization that works to bring climate change to an end. It made a big impact on the United States climate policy and is one of the first major environmental organizations to campaign against superpollutants. It also supports the use of low and zero carbon technologies like advanced nuclear power and super hot rock geothermal energy. Clean Air Task Force and other organizations like it are helping us get out of this dangerous, narrow space of global warming and destructive climate change, and I am honored to support their efforts. Now, I'd like to thank a number of people for helping me reach this special moment. I'd like to thank my religious and Hebrew school teachers, such as my current teachers, Deborah and Dora, for teaching me how to read and write Hebrew, and I'd like to thank my classmates for learning with me. I'd like to thank my tutor, Helen, and for helping me with my Torah portion and prayers. And I'd like to thank Rabbi Rick for helping me with my Devar Torah and preparing me for this day. I'd like to thank Cantor Lissa for helping me practice. I'd like to thank my mom and dad for supporting me, and my siblings Arthur and Audrey for keeping me company. I'd like to thank my friend Rowan for being such a great friend, and I'd like to thank all my friends for being a part of my life. And lastly, I'd like to thank everyone here for coming today. Thank you all. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Yes, another one of those moments. Helen, we want to thank you. We want to thank you. What an inspiring day this was. My goodness, so beautiful. And I know that your parents would like to share what's in their heart right now. I'm honored, Brian, so honored to call upon your dad, Brian Bairstow. Yeah, you want to look that up, Brian? There you go.
Thank you all for coming today. It's a great gift to have our family and loved ones and our friends and our community here to celebrate and mark this event. What I want most to share with all of you is how proud I am of Helen for coming this far. and for all the work she has done to prepare herself for her life ahead. She has gone on a long and steady journey exploring her heritage and what it means to be Jewish. That's led her here as she takes responsibility as a member of the community, not just as a Jew in this congregation, but as a citizen of the world in our global community. Some of the core teachings of Judaism are of empathy, justice, righteousness, and compassion. These are virtues I see in Helen, and as she continues to blossom, she can go forth into the world and help make it a better place. Helen, as you take the next steps in life, there will be new challenges. In high school, college, and beyond, you'll take on new responsibilities. But I know you'll rise to these challenges. Your life so far and your hard work have prepared you to take each new step, one step at a time. You've grown so much, and you'll continue to grow. It has been a privilege learning the Torah with you, and it's been a privilege being your father.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you so very much. And Sarah would be honored.
Helen. Sometimes I call you Sarah 2.0. I, of course, am Sarah 1.0, the original. In so many ways, you're just like me. You look just like me. Your eyes are so pretty. You have the same perfectionism and drive. You get hangry when you need a snack. You like cats and boba milk tea. By coincidence, you even ended up reading from the same Torah portion I read from at my bat mitzvah 27 years ago. Actually, 27 years and one day. But today, as we all acknowledge your place in the Jewish community, I also want to acknowledge your individuality. You love anime and manga, both watching it and drawing it. You like the horror genre. You wear hoodies every day. You like your boba with less sugar and less ice. Your maturity sometimes surprises me. When I was a teenager, if I felt slighted, I would sulk for hours in my room, seething about how nobody was coming to apologize or take responsibility. You sulk too, but for 5 minutes, and then you come out, apologize, and ask for a hug. And that is the reason I call you Sarah 2.0. Not because you are so much like me, but because in some ways you are so much better than me. I have so many things I want to say to you in this moment, but you've heard it all from me before. Sometimes you don't listen to my advice, but often you do. Sometimes you even ask for it. Sometimes even then you don't take it, and that's okay. It's good even. I want you to learn what you can from me, but ultimately you will need to make your own decisions, to struggle and to learn and grow from your experiences. Preparing for your bat mitzvah was hard. It was probably the biggest thing that you've ever done. That's part of why I wanted you to do it, to be challenged, to do something difficult, to struggle, yes, but then to overcome the struggle, stretch your abilities, and accomplish something big. I've known all along that you could do it, even when you doubted it. Remember how you feel in this moment. The pride of accomplishment, yes, but more importantly, the confidence of having done something you weren't sure you could do. Remembering this moment is what is going to get you through the next hard thing, give you the confidence to keep going when things get hard and when you feel that doubt creep in. If you remember that, you're going to accomplish great things. And the best part is that you get to decide what counts as great, because you are your own person, Helen 1.0. I'd like to close with a Dr. Seuss quote my mother used at my bat mitzvah, and maybe someday you will quote it at your daughter's bat mitzvah. It's from Oh, the Places You'll Go, but slightly modified. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the gal who will decide where you go. So, be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Bray, or Helen Celeste Van Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Mazel tov, Helen. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Sarah. Would you mind coming to see Helen? Well, thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Brian. Thank you both for such heartfelt, such touching words. And thank you, Helen. This was such an amazing experience today, such an awesome experience. Thank you for creating this inspiring day of prayer and learning and celebration. Helen, you've got me thinking. You've got me thinking about the greatest writer in the English language, William Shakespeare. Shakespeare famously asked and observed in his classic play Romeo and Juliet, "What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet." That is true, or "'tis true," Shakespeare would say. He's right. We could call a rose something else, and it would still smell as sweet and look as beautiful. But it's also true in Judaism that names have important meaning and significance. In Judaism, it is said one's Hebrew name can reveal one's character and one's spiritual essence. I think this is certainly true of you, Helen. Your Hebrew name, Tovah, means good. Good. And your goodness, Helen, shines through in all that you do and in all that you are. Each one of us is blessed by your goodness and by your kindness and compassion. I experience it and see it regularly here in the temple and at religious school, how your friends and your classmates trust you and can rely on you, how I trust you and can rely on you, and certainly your parents, the goodness that you express to them and that they have instilled in you, that shines through in every way. And I trust that everybody here also experiences Helen's goodness. We all do. Another wonderful demonstration of your goodness, Helen, is your Bat Mitzvah project with Clean Air Task Force. By supporting this organization, you're helping to eradicate climate change and protect our precious planet. That is goodness on a global scale. And today you offered each one of us wise, very helpful teachings about how to free ourselves from too much stress, which we all feel from time to time, which seems more frequent over these past 2 years of COVID. As I mentioned to you, Helen, after I first read your marvelous Devar Torah, your Bat Mitzvah speech, I said, your teachings put a smile on my face. You can't see it now, but I'm smiling. Your teachings put a smile on my face and inspire me to feel lighter and to feel freer. And I imagine many other people here today feel that too with what you shared and what you taught us. Helen, your goodness radiates as you demonstrated the freedom, the peace, and the joy that comes from making time to be with our friends, our loved ones, and our community. How music uplifts us as you taught us, how we all need rest and rejuvenation after a long week, and how praying for loved ones who are sick and in need of healing can help them, and it can help us during difficult times. Such empowering, such refreshing wisdom that you offer us, Helen. It's like the sweet-smelling spices of Havdalah that you talked about. Your goodness and your wise approach to dealing with the daily stresses of life reflect a great Jewish value that has your Hebrew name in it as well. That Jewish value is called an ayin tovah, literally a good eye. Having an ayin tovah, a good eye, means choosing to see the good in things and in people. Choosing to see the good in things and in people. just as you see all the good in celebrating Shabbat here at Temple, just as I know you appreciate all the good in your family and in your friends, and just as I imagine you see and enjoy the good in baking chocolate chip cookies, and in your enjoyment of anime, and of course being with your cat Percy, there's a lot of good in life, and it sometimes does get obscured and blocked out and hidden because of the stress and the challenges we might be facing. As you talked about, it's like a hand held before too close to our eyes, is how one of the great rabbis described it. If we put a hand up too close to our eyes, we can block out just about anything, even something as big and beautiful as a majestic mountain standing right in front of us. Your ayin tovah, Helen, your attitude of seeing the good, allows us to remove the hand that obscures our ability to experience all the goodness in our lives. Now, does having a good eye in this way mean that we never see the bad or the painful things of life? That we only look at the good? No. We need to see the painful, hurtful stuff too. That's part of life. And there's no avoiding it, there's no denying it. However, a good eye, an ayin tovah, says, I'm going to accept that there are painful, hurtful things that happen in this world. I'm going to see that. Yet I'm also going to look for the strength to transform it and make it better. I'm not going to allow the bad to blind me from seeing the good. I'm going to focus on the good whenever it's possible, because there is so much of it in this world and in other people. That's an ayin tovah. That's a good eye that we know you have, Helen, and that you can always use, and that we can develop, and that we can strengthen too. So, Helen, thank you for the goodness. Thank you for the tovah that you demonstrate and that you share, and who you are. You are such a thoughtful and kind, empathetic, wise, and caring, compassionate, helpful young woman, as your parents described. That is what it means to be a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandment. And that's who you are, Helen. May you continue to be a great blessing to the world and to all of us. Mazel tov. Mazel tov to you. Mazel tov to your wonderful family. Well, Helen, at this time, Cantor Alyssa and I would be honored to share with you the most precious blessing of the Jewish people, God's blessing found in the Torah. We invite you to join us at the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark. And please rise, everybody.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
Helen, may God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's love and God's wisdom shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom shalom.
Helen, may God always be with you and with your beautiful family and give you all the most precious blessing of all, the blessing of shalom. Shalom, which is peace and its wholeness, and it is fulfillment in every way. And together we all say, Amen. Please be seated, everybody. Well, Helen, leaders of our congregation would like to make a very special presentation to you now. I am honored to begin by calling upon a member of our board of directors, Susan Hain.
Well, Helen, you did an amazing job this morning, and I'm so honored to be here to represent the board. On behalf of the Temple Sinai Board, I am honored to present you with some gifts today. First, a certificate, beautiful certificate, commemorating that on this day you became a bat mitzvah, signed and suitable for framing, as they say. Leaders in worship and chanting from our sacred text. Next, we have a gift certificate from the National Federation of Temple Youth that can be used towards a trip to Israel with other Jewish teens during your high school years. And finally, your very own Women's Torah commentary. This book is the first comprehensive commentary on the 5 books of Moses to be authored exclusively by women, smart, talented, caring, and involved women. In other words, the kind of woman you are on the path to becoming. Mazel tov.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. And Helen, representing those communities within communities that you talked about, representing our sisterhood, we are honored to call upon Ivy Marks, and then followed by our brotherhood representative, Mr. George Lowe.
Helen, do you know what everyone is thinking right now? They're thinking, what an amazing young woman and what a fabulous job you did. I am honored on behalf of Sisterhood at Temple Sinai to honor you with this mezuzah. And you can hold it, go ahead. And may you post that on your doorpost of maybe of your bedroom to always be reminded of God's presence. And you'll be graduating from middle school soon, then high school, then college, and it's uncertain where you'll be. Will you stay in California, or are you gonna go out to another state? We don't know, but one thing is certain, wherever life's journey takes you, take this mezuzah with you, and you'll always feel God's presence with you, and always feel the warmth of knowing that you have a home here at Temple Sinai. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Helen. You've made everyone very proud. And I am indeed honored on behalf of a brotherhood to present you with this Kiddush cup. May it always overflow with sweet grape juice and one day wine. And may you, whenever you use it, may it remind you of this day and your community here at Temple Sinai.
Thank you, George, and thank you, Ivy, and again, thank you, Susan. Well, Helen, you've been working hard today, and we got some celebrating to do. A few more prayers to do for the rest of our service, our worship together. You want to take a breather? Cantor and I will finish out the service, and we'll all continue our celebration. Well, we turn now to our concluding prayers. We turn back in our prayer book to page 586. Page 586, we come to the adoration prayer called Aleinu. We're in the middle of page 586, and we rise again before the open ark.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, v'atein kedula l'yoseh b'reishit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'arasot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, v'gol aleinu kechol ha'olam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachachim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated, everybody.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Jewish worship is never complete until we think of those people in our lives that we've loved and who have passed away, yet who remain very much an abiding blessing in our hearts and in our souls. So at this time, we think of our family members who have passed away, our friends, members of our community, members of every race and nation who are a blessing to humanity. We think of them now. We honor them through our memory and through our prayer. As I mentioned the name of a loved one who has passed, I invite you to please stand, and then in just a moment, we'll all stand together to recite the Kaddish prayer. This Shabbat we say Kaddish for Harvey Hirsch, Phyllis Sivan. Our Kaddish prayer is for Shirley Rosenberg, Robert Schumann. Our Kaddish prayer is for Eva Hain, Dorothy Engelhart, and Marion Parnes, David Lieberman, Susan Schwartz, Leon Johnson, Stephen Snitzer, Anita Honey Barr. We say Kaddish for Vera Schneiderman, Joan Kaffel Ettlinger, Janet Jeffries, Jennifer Woody, Nancy Lord, Barbara Bolter, Sandra Gainan, Charlotte Hellman, Sylvia Miller, and Karen Ness. And for those who are observing Yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one that is commemorated this week, we remember Walter Elwood, Elizabeth Schreiber Hafner, Elke Leuben, C. Harold Cohn, Joseph Weinberg, Helen Block Halprin, Alfred Kaufman, Anselm Kramer, Erwin Julian Richland, Barbara Abraham, Claire Seltzer, Mordecai Grzyban, Yaakov Tamim, Leah Stern, Seymour H. Weiss, Peter Rock, Gail Filas, Dorothy Galen, Sadie Hartman, and Penny Snyder. Is there anybody who's mourning a loss whose name was not mentioned? And if so, we invite you to please raise your hand and mention that name now. Yes, Isa? Yes. Thank you, Mark. Well, for all of them, we now turn to page 598 in our prayer book, page 598. We stand together as a community of family and friends, and we thank God that they were all with us, that they were all on this earth. Together we pray, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chai echon u'v'yom echon. ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה ברכו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn. May we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. Together we say, Amen. And please be seated, everybody.
Please join me as we conclude our Kaddish prayer with Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru
shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom. We have many wonderful events coming up at Temple Sinai, which you can read about in the weekly TSG email blast. Today's flowers are presented by Sarah Bairstow and Michael Martell in honor of Helen's bat mitzvah, Christy Seidner for the yahrzeit of her mother, Barbara Abraham, Heather Halprin for the yahrzeit of her mother, Helen Block Halprin. At the conclusion of the service, everyone is invited to join in the Kiddush luncheon hosted this week by the Bairstow and Martell family. For everyone's health and safety, please keep your masks on except when eating. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thank you, Susan. Well, Helen, at this time, we want to call upon your religious school classmates to come on up to join you to make a special presentation. You're becoming a bat mitzvah, and we're going to have Jordan Schneiderman represent for the entire class and for all the students. All right, come on over, sir. Yeah, so what you guys feel?
Congratulations, you did such a great job today. We are all really proud of you and happy that you're a classmate of ours. Hebrew school wouldn't be the same without you. We would like to give you this menorah to remind you of this day and the friendships you have made at Temple Sinai.
All right, thank you, Jordan. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. If you guys would please stay here. We've got a few more prayers we'd love to do with you. All right, we are going to start with Kiddush, and let's see. Helen, do you want to use your new cup, or you want to save it for another time, or? Okay. You okay? Could you hold it? Will you hold this one? Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen l'chaim.
Grape juice, everybody. That's grape juice. Okay. All right, and now we're going to say the blessing over the challah. Isa, would you do the honors? Thank you. Yeah, could you? That'd be great.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avam.
All right, Cantor, are you going to represent? Cantor's going to have a bite, and we'll have some more, and give her a chance to get comfortable before she sings and leads us in song in just a second. What is our closing song today, Cantor?
Our closing song today is Ein Kelohenu by Helen's request, and we're going to turn together to page 626, and we'll rise and we'll sing together.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemakenu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mich Elohenu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Kemakenu, Mich Moshienu, Nodel Elohenu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonai, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Mazel tov. Thank you guys. Thank you all for being here.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's always good to have you here. Please.
That must have happened when I
Yeah, right? Good to see you.
Is this a good time to like take a deep breath and say, done? I have to go eat.
Oh, God.
It still works though. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Did you sleep last night?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Beautiful time.
Because it probably
Yeah,
will.
I'm noticing is that a cat here? Is that a cat? Oh, man.